Good morning to you once more. You're still watching Good Morning Namibia right here on the NBC. Now, Namibia's innovation and creative landscape has made significant traction since independence some 33 years ago. This is evident through the national policies on intellectual property and innovation adopted by government. The Director General of the World Intellectual Property Organization is in Namibia on an official two-day visit to fortify collaboration between Namibia and the WIPO with a specific focus on intellectual property and its role in propelling economic growth, innovation and global competitiveness. We are delighted to welcome him in person this morning right here on Good Morning Namibia. That is the esteemed Daren Tang, who is the Director General of the World Intellectual Property Organization. Mr. Tang, very good morning. Welcome to Good Morning Namibia.
Good morning to Namibia.
Yes.
And thank you, Ndishishii, for having me on this show.
It's a true honor and a pleasure to have you here. How are you finding our country so far?
You know, I flew in yesterday and I was immediately taken in by how majestic the landscape is. And I had some braai in the evening. And
it would be an injustice
to
come to Namibia and not have Namibian meat.
Of course, yeah. So it's been fantastic. But, you know, the hospitality has been amazing. And coming from Asia, from Singapore, that's something that warms my heart so much because that's part of the culture we have back in Asia as well.
Very much so. I can't help but ask you, what's taken you so long to come to Namibia?
Well, you know, I've been on this job for 3 years. So, and then when I arrived in Geneva to take up the job, because WIPO is one of the 15 specialized UN agencies, we focus on innovation and creativity. We're based in Geneva. I had to relocate from Singapore to Geneva. But it was the COVID for the first few years. But now that all that is behind us, hopefully, I'm here to visit your beautiful country, here to visit and engage with the whole region as well.
Absolutely. Of course, you're here to of course, foster and build on those relations between, the WIPO and Namibia, but also, with the broader picture of the African continent. Let's get into it, Mr. Tang. What do you make of, IP, intellectual property, and the state of it on the African continent here?
Well, I think, first of all, we have a very different vision of intellectual property under this current administration at WIPO. We don't want IP to be just for the few experts and specialists in industrialized countries. We really want IP, to be supporting innovators and creators at the grassroots level. And to me, that's especially important to the developing countries and the least developed countries. And Africa, to me, is a whole continent, with so much potential.
Absolutely.
Just think about in the area of film. We've got Nollywood and Hollywood. Think about in the area of music. There's so much talent coming out from this part of the world.
Music is taking over the world.
And just in the area of technology and startups, you've got Jabu and Lefa in your homegrown startups here in Namibia. You've got M-Pesa, who's become one of the big digital currency and digital e-payments platforms, not just in Africa but the world. I think this is a continent of people who are hungry, who are ambitious, who are dynamic, young. And I think all this will mean that Africa will become a continent, also of innovation, of creativity, of entrepreneurship, and I think that's my job. My job is to help how IP can help these young people, of course, anyone with ideas, to be able to not just protect, but use IP to take the ideas to the market.
Absolutely. What inroads have you made on the African continent so far?
Well, we're doing a couple of things to translate IP to the ground. Because it's so mysterious and so technical, we have to work hard to make it impactful to people on the ground. And one of the things that we're doing is that we're delivering a lot of projects in the African region. One that I'm very proud of, and we're going to celebrate in my trip here in Namibia, is that we've just had a project that's completed to support women entrepreneurs in Namibia. And we've just trained 50, and out of the 50, we mentored 10. Not just for 1 or 2 days, but over months, several months.
Fantastic.
And one of them, we're going to meet her tomorrow. Mehi Kumwa. She's one of the entrepreneurs from the Okongo region.
Yes, you thought you were
I'm not so bad, Okongo region, and she's an agri-food entrepreneur. So we're going to support people like her through mentoring, training, not to just look at the technical aspects of IP, but look at the practical aspects of IP. How to pick up IP skills so that she can use IP to brand, to market, to package her products, so she can use IP to franchise her business into the region and beyond. So we're looking at very, very very concrete things like this.
Fantastic. Yeah. Of course, in the broader context of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, which is really, Africa's hope for creating this single, economy that's just trading robustly, amongst each other. And you see, the operationalization, of this agreement coming into effect slowly but surely, perhaps not at the desired pace, but progressing nonetheless. When you look at IP in the context of the free trade area, what do you foresee as perhaps some of the challenges, but also what do we need to put in place to ensure that, intellectual property does have a place within the agreement, but also serves the agreement well?
Well, we're very excited about the free trade areas. It's when barriers come down, you unleash the creative and innovative capacity of the people in the entire continent. 1.2 billion people, already a $3 trillion economy. I think it can only go up. And I think what's going to happen is that the trade within Africa, will not just be on resources or commodities or the traditional products. Increasingly, it's going to be on intangible assets, on ideas, on brands, on designs, on technology, on startups and all that. But what we need to do is that in order to achieve the full potential of the free trade area, we need to give people the tools, the skills to succeed. So what WIPO has, that we have a WIPO Academy that trained 270,000 people all over the world in the last 2 years.
Wow.
And of that, we've trained about 40,000 people from Africa in the last 5 years. That's not bad, but that's not enough, because as you know, already in Namibia, there are 40,000 SMEs, so we need to do more. So what I'm doing at the WIPO Academy is to move away from just purely technical IP training for IP professionals to providing practical IP skills for designers, creators, entrepreneurs, for startups. We even have a course called IP for Exporters that we want to offer to Namibia and to the entire region. And these are the things we want to do to give, as you say, to operationalize the free trade area. We need to give skills and training and support, So with the projects, with the training, and of course supporting the member states on the continent to put in place the right laws, the right policy frameworks, I think it's just going to become a really, really dynamic FTA, and we look forward to seeing how that develops.
Very much. And of course, the place of women and the youth cannot be overstated.
Absolutely.
Talk to us about your commitment towards that agenda.
I came into WIPO coming from Southeast Asia, from Singapore, with a mandate, to build a more inclusive and balanced global IP ecosystem. Like I said, it cannot just be for certain countries, it must be for everyone. It cannot just be for the experts, it must be for people on the ground. So our priorities for the next few years will be on women, youth, small, medium enterprises, and indigenous peoples and local communities. So especially in indigenous communities, we have a project called Women Entrepreneurs in indigenous communities. And one of the persons from Namibia who's benefited from this is Miss Apolia Dabe, who's one of the leaders of the San community in the Naro clan, which I believe is in the eastern part of Namibia. She started up through the training and mentoring program that we provided for her, she's created a youth development plan for her community. And that's creating a lot of transfer of traditional knowledge intergenerationally. And then between the different generations, they're creating traditional handicrafts that are being sold and exported into other parts. So we're looking for projects like that, and we're looking to support people like her. We're also in contact with the First Lady of your country, Madam Monica Gaingo, to see how we can bring these projects to the rest of Namibia and then to the rest of Africa as well. So we're really, really committed, not just by talking and writing policy papers. We want to be a UN agency, that does things on the ground. So projects like we're doing, the various projects that we're doing will be very important. By the way, Namibia also is one of the first African countries that will pilot a project on IP and traditional medicine practitioners, which is unusual because you normally don't think of IP as connected to that.
Exactly, and that's another concept I wanted to talk to you about, traditional knowledge and indigenous knowledge as far as IP is concerned. Where do you see that here?
I think IP can be the friend of this traditional knowledge. People always think of IP as cutting-edge technologies or new brands, and that's not wrong. But IP can also be about culture and heritage. Again, I draw back to my background as an Asian, We come from a region that's proud of our culture and heritage, just like in Africa. And IP can support that as well. IP has all kinds of tools that help protect this traditional knowledge through systems like geographical indications, or there are other things that are connected more to the traditional knowledge, but also to help them not just protect it, but bring it to the world in a way that they want, in a way that respects their culture. So we're going to work on a lot of these things.
Fantastic stuff. Mr. Tang, the future of IP, especially with the advancement of technology, when you talk about, AI, etc. How do you see this play out?
Well, my message to all the young Africans and the African entrepreneurs out there, is that don't just see the challenges in technology, see the opportunities. Africa, in my encounters with African leaders, but also those on the ground, right? I see a lot of hunger, right, to use all the tools available to to make a better life for everyone. And in fact, in Africa, there's a more positive attitude towards IP than in Europe and North America, which is unbelievable, but it connects with my feeling that there's a lot of hunger here. So look at technology and IP as an opportunity to grow, develop, and I think that we are here to support when technology becomes too complicated. So we just launched on Friday this project called CLIP, Creators Learn Intellectual Property. Maybe it's for people like you as well, you're in the broadcast industry, where we're going to help create a platform that's online and free, where older, more experienced creators will mentor younger creators, right, on the music industry and how to use IP and technology, right, to navigate and become and earn a living as a musician. So I hope you all check it out. It's called goclip.org. My partner in this, right, is Bjorn from ABBA, which I'm sure is very well known to many people in this continent, but also African musicians like Pundo Gomez from Senegal. So we're looking for very practical things like that. But I think the last thing I would just want to say is that beyond the tools and training, right, the most important is that Africa and Africans must have self-belief. We must believe that innovation doesn't just happen in Silicon Valley, but also in our backyard, also in our countries. So we really, really want to help the continent, right, and the countries of the region use IP as their tool and their journey towards a development as well.
Very much indeed. Mr. Tang, unfortunately, you're only here for 2 days. I'm not sure how much of Namibia you'll get to see, but I do hope that you get to visit some of the country. But take us through your itinerary for your visit here. Well,
so we're of course here to meet many of the leaders and many of the ministers and political leaders. We're here also to support the Business and IP Authority of Namibia, BIPA. And for any Namibians out there who want to know more about IP, right, just go to the BIPA website. But we're also here to meet with Namibian entrepreneurs, Namibian researchers. I'm going to be visiting the Namibian University of Science and Technology. And tomorrow we're going to celebrate the entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs, like May and the others, right, who have gone through the training and now are ready to graduate. So I think we're going to do a lot of things, but unfortunately I need to spend more time next time I come back.
You should.
I will.
Just your concluding sentiments as we conclude this morning. You've rightfully said that, Africa needs to own their intellectual property. Just your last sentiments this morning,
Well, exactly. I think that this is a region that is so full of dynamism, so full of energy, young populations, comfortable with technology, full of ideas, right? Use and make use of intellectual property to bring those ideas to the market, to raise up your families, to support your communities, right? And then WIPO will be here with you on this journey along the way.
Very much indeed. Mr. Tang, true honor meeting you, true honor sitting down with you. Thank you for being here this morning. All the best with your visit to Namibia and all the best for the future.
Thank you so much, Ndishishii.
There you have it. Mr. Daren Tang, he's the Director General of the World Intellectual Property Organization, just taking us through what WIPO aims to achieve here on the African continent as far as intellectual property is concerned. Of course, he's in Namibia on a 2-day official visit where he'll be engaging a number of stakeholders, just making sure that, of course, Namibia does get the IP agenda right. So he'll be, of course, engaging those local stakeholders. So stay with us. Good Morning Namibia continues with more interviews.